However, there is another group that warrants significant attention, those that contracted HIV through their NHS treatment. And when talking about financial support mechanisms, it should be from their experience with the Macfarlane Trust that we should learn. Sadly, Mr. Dobbin, it is not a tale of best practice. Neither cares nor understands what we have or are going through. No longer fit for purpose. An embarrassment to the government that funds it. These are just a selection of the damning descriptions I have received about Macfarlane Trust from both beneficiaries and, significantly, from trustees. I know ministers in the Department for Health have tried hard to regain the trust of the haemophilia community, but the sad fact is that their efforts are constantly undermined by the failings of the Macfarlane Trust. Mr. Dobbin, we cannot turn the clock back and undo the damage done, nor can we pretend that we can wholly make up for the years of distress now. However, we can and must ensure that the support provided by the government is not administered in such a way that it serves as a further source of anger, upset and frustration. And yet I hear time and time again that this is the daily frustrating experience of many of the beneficiaries. One where policies are created ad hoc with little continuity or clarity. One where intrusive and personal details are demanded for the simplest of requests. And one where the attitude towards beneficiaries is one of arrogance. Beneficiaries feel at best confused and at worst bullied by the very organisation created to support them. In preparing for this debate, Mr. Dobbin, I have spoken with two previous trustees who both suggested that the management of the trust is completely out of tune with the needs of the beneficiaries. They describe an organisation that is completely unwilling to make the case for further funding to the Department of Health and dismisses complaints without due care and attention. While I recognise that the trust is independent of the Department of Health, the Minister must also recognise what harm is being done, and in turn, what reflection this has on her government. I know many of these concerns were raised with the Minister's predecessor, the member for Broxtowe, during the recent all-party group AGM. I therefore hope that the Minister will continue with the internal review that I understand was subsequently initiated, and that she will agree to meet with representatives from across the community. This community does not want to be forever perceived as victims, forced to go cap in hand, begging for support. To quote Claire Walton, another one of my constituents, I want to be empowered and have autonomy over my own life, rather than continue with this victim culture through charity. The sobering reality is that the government cannot afford to wait another 20 years. The people who need support are dying in ever-increasing numbers. As my honourable friend, the member for North East Bedfordshire, rightly commented, the Prime Minister has an outstanding record in seeking to address historic wrongs. Personally, I cannot think of a better time to address the worst treatment disaster in the history of the National Health Service. Thank you, Mr. Dobbin.